there was a party at Clive Davis's house, and that's where the story began. Clive Davis's house.
Clive Davis, have they ever had anything past business?
He got a boss too, and his boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
Everyone that is mentored under him have become victimizers, liars, thieves, and probably worse things than that.
The name Clive Davis has long been synonymous with musical genius and the Midas touch for turning artists into global sensations. But what if we told you that behind the curtain of fame and success lies a tale of intrigue, manipulation, and a side of Davis that most of us could have never even fathomed? For decades, Clive Davis has been hailed as a legendary producer, the man who's discovered and nurtured some of the biggest names in the music industry. From Whitney Houston's soaring vocals to Alicia Keys' soul-stirring melodies, Davis's name has been etched in the annals of music history. But wait, there's more to this story, a side that some insiders are daring to reveal. While most of us have believed in the fairy tale of Clive Davis, the benevolent music maestro whispers have been circulating behind closed doors, suggesting an alternate reality that's hard to digest. Could it be possible that the man who brought us iconic hits and chart-topping albums is also one of the first gay gatekeepers of the industry? That's right. According to rapper Sean P Diddy, Davis allegedly wielded his influence and connections to both propel artists to stardom and crush those who dared to cross him. But that's not all. The dark claims don't stop there. Diddy has allegedly painted a chilling picture of Davis as a manipulative, cold-blooded puppet master, pulling the strings of artists' careers to suit his own agenda. The alleged stories of backroom deals, ruthless power plays, and calculated moves to maintain his stranglehold on the industry are enough to make anyone's head spin. You see, in 2013, Clive came out of the closet and declared he was bisexual.
Second marriage failed because I had been 100% heterosexual up until that point.
In his book, The Soundtrack of My Life, Davis recounts his long career with artists such as Whitney Houston, Dionne Warwick, and the Grateful Dead. Davis also writes about working through the complexity of his personal life, specifically how he began to live a bisexual life in the 1980s, having intimate relationships with 2 women and a man. Davis wrote, "I was not looking for a lifestyle change. I had no inclination whatsoever for any club or bar life. I always enjoyed female company, the look of an attractive woman, the feminine perspective on things. But as a single male, my friendships did broaden. There were married couples, gay couples, and single men and women, both straight and gay. A mixed group, based on my background and inclinations, was more comfortable for me." In 1990, he started a monogamous relationship with a male doctor for 13 years and lived in separate apartments in the same building. Davis said he didn't want to be typecast, which he writes was the primary reason he never went public with his sexuality. "I could certainly see the benefits to others from David Geffen and other prominent people revealing their homosexuality, but to me, admitting you're bisexual is to invite derision from all sides with no one ultimately benefiting," he said. In any case, many fans applauded Davis for finally being true to himself. However, in recent years, certain revelations have been made concerning Clive's relationship with male artists under his wing that has made fans question everything about him. One such artist is Sean P Diddy.
Everyone that is mentored under him have become victimizers, liars, thieves, and probably worse things than that.
For context, Davis spent the first 3 decades of his career at 2 companies, Columbia Records from 1960 through 1973, then his own Arista Records until 2000. He spent much of the 4th decade as a rock in a stormy sea while a corporate battle tried and failed to best him, with only his job titles and company names changing. His business cards sprawled across what was formerly the Sony BMG Music Group, comprising those companies as well as RCA Records and his own J Records, until he was named Chief Creative Officer of Sony Music Entertainment in 2008, a role he continues to hold. It is due to this impeccable longevity that Diddy crossed paths with Davis, with the then young New Yorker picking up a few lessons from the legendary music executive. In any case, while both executives may have produced some of the best songs to ever hit the radio, their reputations are not crystal clear, especially in regard to how they handled young artists in their respective record companies. For context, in 1993, Diddy, in partnership with Sony, would form Bad Boy Records, which quickly became one of the biggest record labels in the music industry thanks to its incredible roster. Back in the 90s, Bad Boy Records dominated the charts with countless hits, which is just one of the ways Diddy has now become one of the richest music moguls in Hollywood. Yet despite all the success he had with the label, by the early 2000s, things had taken a shift, with many of its artists complaining about failing to see any royalties from their music sales. That, along with creative differences with Diddy, who is now worth $900 million, would slowly but surely see Bad Boy Records experience a speedy downfall when a dozen of its artists were ready to leave the company, even if it meant they would never see the same kind of success they had in their heyday. Allegedly, Diddy learned from Clive Davis, one of the first Hollywood gatekeepers, how to frustrate new artists. You see, the late Whitney Houston had one of the all-time greatest voices, but despite selling more than 170 million albums worldwide and winning 6 Grammy Awards, she was reportedly living a double life, manufactured in part by her manager. In 1985, music executive Clive Davis took Whitney, an unknown singer from New Jersey, and groomed her to become a pop star for Arista Records. An insider revealed that Houston had to do what he said, wear what he said to, sing what he wanted her to sing, and act like a goody two-shoes when she was really a down-and-dirty girl from Jersey. Whitney definitely resented that. The source continued, Clive made her into a mainstream pop star and allowed all of her wildest dreams to come true, but being this massive pop star came at a price. She had to act a certain way in front of the cameras for the label. That wasn't the real Whitney. Houston allegedly turned to drugs to cope. She was in pain from all the pressure she was facing and the pain from living almost a double life, a source told People. Meanwhile, Diddy's record label did the same for its artists. The label undoubtedly changed the face of hip-hop after signing the notorious Big, who would become the best-selling artist on its roster, with sales surpassing 28 million albums in the U.S. alone. According to the Los Angeles Times, just 3 years after launching the company, Diddy had logged an incredible $75 million in album sales, so there was definitely a lot of money being made behind the scenes. Yet, a lot of artists who signed with the firm would later complain about not getting paid for their work. It would appear Diddy, learning from his mentor Clive Davis, manipulated, exhorted, and produced so many failed careers. He allegedly also groomed some of his young male artists. In a since-deleted Instagram post posted in January 2020, former Bad Boy recording artist Mase, who is also known as one of Diddy's closest friends during his heyday, went off on his former boss for allegedly still owing him his publishing from 24 years ago, which he had paid $20,000 for at the time. Your past business practices knowingly has continued, purposely starved your artist, and been extremely unfair to the very same artist that helped you obtain that Icon Award on the iconic Bad Boy label, he wrote. For example, you still got my publishing from 24 years ago in which you gave me $20,000, which makes me never want to work with you as any artist wouldn't after you know someone is robbing you and tarnishing your name when you don't want to comply with his horrendous business model. Former 112 singers Quinnis Parker echoed similar words after Mace's Instagram post went viral, telling a TMZ cameraman the following month that he had also suffered severe consequences from an unfair contract signed at Bad Boy. I get where Mace is coming from because I'm in the same situation. However, it's a contract we signed when we were teenagers, and legally he did nothing wrong, he said. Meanwhile, fans have called out Clive for his negative influence in the music industry. One particular fan commented, Clive is the main one. Who do you think Diddy got it from? A second fan added, Davis and Diddy should both be in prison. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.